I can promise you this. Anything that looks easy, that feels effortless, all the hard work that's gotten into making it look easy and effortless is the stuff that nobody will ever tell you, because then the magic is gone.
Yeah. And to get to magic, all that hard work is imperative. You cannot do it without it unless you are one of the, I don't know, 1% super talented, genetically supercharged to do that one thing outrageously well individual. Right? You think about Valentino Rossi as whatever. He was genetically slightly better at riding motorcycles than us. Yes, it's possible. He was riding motorcycles from what, 4, 5 years old? He's ridden a motorcycle every single day. He's fallen, he's hurt himself, he's had to give up food, he's had to change the way he was educated, he's done fewer things than his friends did at the ages when they did those. He's lived that life fast, hard, painfully, over and over and over again, so that he could retire at 43. It was not easy for him. He made it look easy because by the time he came into the limelight, a lot of the hard work and the foundational structure had already been built.
Yeah. And I think that is the secret sauce for people who really do something well. They don't complain about the struggles. They will just never ever show it to you, because that is their superpower, that they can absorb that stress and strain
Yeah.
and just keep on working and make it seem like, no, I'm not doing anything special.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything great. But that's how, like, there was this guy when I was in school. So when back in Nagpur, Akhil, anyways, he was like this, the coolest kid in class and like a nice guy, right? He was great at sports. He was the captain or something of something. And we were in 5th, 6th standard, 6th, 7th, something like that. And he was like this really cool guy. He was great at studies. He was great at sports. He was well liked by everybody. And I would just be like, dude, you gotta be bad at something, right? And then I realized that for all his musti, and typically when you've not done your homework, you want somebody's books, you'll say, can you give me? Always happy to lend. Like, great guy. And when you asked him, yeah, how you imagine? Nothing, yeah, I don't study. Yes. And I would believe him. And then I realized that this guy is not studying. He's just studying. He's super focused about it. He just gets in, gets it done, and then he's set, sorted.
Yeah.
He just used to put his hard work in, make no fuss about it, and just get on with life. And that's when I realized that this guy is he would be freeing up time. By saying that I want to go play in the evening.
So I might as well study faster and smarter as hard as I can right now.
Instead of cribbing and complaining, कि इतना homework है, ये है, वो है, he would just get down to it, get it done, and go out and play.
Yeah. So one of the most powerful things that I learned to do very early on is because I know very clearly that my career goal is not to be a journalist. It's to ride motorcycles more. It's to ride more motorcycles. Okay, it's both sides. Ride motorcycles more, ride more motorcycles. That's the goal. That's the career goal. What that means is I have to make time for this to happen, and somebody has to pay me to do it. Correct? The pay me to do it, I'm not worried about, because my fundamental belief is life may be unfair, life may be unpredictable, but if you work hard enough at something and become good enough at it, the money has no choice but to come and sit in your pocket for a while. It's not permanent, it's not continuous, and that's fine. Right? The first thing I learned is, if my job is as a journalist, then my job is to express my thoughts and opinions, which means writing initially, and now it means video. These are both activities that you can't do riding motorcycles. It means you have to stop riding motorcycles to do these things, right? So every article I've ever written, and they'll number in the thousands by now, every video I've ever made, which will also be over 1,000 now or whatever, it's time away from motorcycles. Correct? So how do I do this, which earns me money, so that I can actually do what I really intend to do, which is ride more motorcycles and ride motorcycles more? And I realized the one way I could solve this is every time I did a thing, 20% of my attention would be on how do I do this better the next time. And better is either higher quality or faster. So for example, in business standard motoring, when I came, I'd been working with computers for a long time. I was already typing pretty fast. But I realized that if I can type faster, I can finally match how fast I am thinking, which means my articles will come out faster.
I can get out quicker.
So I can get out quicker.
Yeah.
And the idea was, if they give me a day's worth of work, can I finish that in half a day? And then finish tomorrow's work and then take tomorrow off and go ride a bike instead. Right? Now, your boss may or may not permit this to be your work mode. Right? I'm not convinced that if I were to tell Bijoy saying, I did today's work, I did tomorrow's work, so can I go ride a motorcycle all day tomorrow? Maybe he says yes, maybe he says no. He was a very good boss, so most of the time I'd assume he'd say yes. But can it be done? And it can. Right? So can you, and I'm not a natural writer, okay? Today I get compliments for my writing, but that's not who I am. In school, I'm not the person who sat and wrote their feelings out ever. Okay? I was in the Mothers International School in Delhi. They had a school magazine type thing called Navrachna or Navchetna or something like that. I've forgotten, sorry. I only think I published one thing in there. And I have no memory of that either. Okay, and then my dad used to run some organization in which there was a newsletter and said, okay, you can write it. And I wrote an article on computer viruses, which was one paragraph about computer viruses and then 3 paragraphs listing the names of computer viruses. It just said, you remember what the viruses were like, the PC stoner, etc. So just like a list.
Oh my.
This is what I used to write.
Okay.
So when I came to the Business Standard as a journalist, I came to write motorcycles. And I could string words together, but I was hardly a writer. But one of the things I made efficient was the process of writing a printable article. My first articles weren't printable even.
Yeah.
I learned
Been there. Yeah.
first step, how do you make it printable? And the idea of printable was not, I will win a Pulitzer tomorrow. The idea of printable was, I need to get out of here and ride that bike. So how do I make an article happen so quickly that they say, yeah, we can publish that? That was my first step. My first step was, how do I make it efficient so that my first draft of the article is already something that the seniors would accept as usable. But if you keep that 20% efficiency eye on your work, then slowly your writing improves. Because you become hungry not just for the fact that publish ho gaya, you also become hungry for the fact that, hey, they liked it. And that grows further and they say, you have a unique style. Like Bijoy used to call my articles military style. It's very staccato, it's very to the point, and it goes straight in one clear direction. But there is a clear chain of thought is what he enjoyed about it. This is not how the other writers in the magazines were writing. So it was a different flavor in that plate, as it were. And it really worked for Business and Motoring, whatever. Then I said, but I can do that in my sleep because it's not something that I've invented or adopted. It's who I am. I've just refined it. And that process of refinement is what he's talking about when he says it's hard work and it's a lot of work, but you have to get through it. Consider this your invitation to like, share, and subscribe. Try the main Motoring channel too. Lots more content there just for you.